it's Michelle from Scrap Secrets, and welcome to the unboxing of the second ever kit from Create and Inkspire. This is the August kit. I'm going to show you everything that comes in here, and then we're going to do at least one card. So it always comes with a treat, and this month's sweet treat are Smarties, and it says, the fun fact is, the Smarties brand has been owned and operated by the same family since 1949, and they're called Rockets in Canada. So here's the little treat, and then a little card with her logo on it. And then, I apologize, that's Lucy. She's just going to continue to make noise throughout the video, so just ignore her. And then here is the card that comes with it that shows you pictures of what's in the kit and then everything that's included. Okay, so let's get started. And I tried to lift this up earlier and things fell out, so I'm not going to show you. It's just some really cute blue tissue paper that's held together by a little sticker with her logo on it. So let's start out with the stamp sets. There are two included in here, and there is a 4x6 called Colorful. This is super cute. I love this, and I have a very good idea for this. I'm also going to be taking this over and using this with the girls. And then the 3x4 sentiment stamp, which is also called, this is called Colorful Sentiments. So it's a mix and match, like buildable sentiments, and I love that. Okay, and then you have the holographic embossing powder by Ranger. Now I've never used this. I do have a lot of embossing powder, but I do not have the holographic. So I'm very excited to use that. And Lucy, sorry guys, I'm sure you can hear her in the background. And then everybody got a texture paste, and I think everything was different. Oh yeah, it says may vary. So mine is the transparent gloss. I've never used this either. I have regular texture paste, but I've never used the transparent. So very curious to see how this works. And then there was a palette knife set, which I have something very similar to these ones. And I think these are, I always just wipe these off, and I think that, I don't think they're disposable, but I think that, you know, they're not as, like, there's ones with wooden handles or stuff like that, but I like these ones because you can just clean the whole thing, because I am super messy, and I'll end up getting something on the bottom of it, and it's really easy to just clean these off, just run them under the sink. So these are the palette knife set. And then you have the paper pack. So I love these colors in here. So this one is the Colorful World 6x6 pattern paper by Create and Inkspire. So I love that this shows you all of the patterns that are inside, and then these are so amazing, and they're like kind of glossy. Now they are single-sided, which I like, because usually when you do double-sided ones, there's always one that I'm like, I love the patterns on both sides, and what am I supposed to do? Like, I want to use both of them, but so I do like that you have one option. I love this one, and this reminds me of an ink dragging technique, so we might try to recreate this one. And I just love how colorful these all are. I feel like this reminds me of like when I do watercolor, because colors just go all over the place and mix and match. And then this one is another lined one, and I love how the different shades of color go through the main back, the background color. And then this one again, this one kind of reminds me of that technique where you put the shaving cream and put color on, like a dye on it, and then just run something through it like paper or whatever. For some reason that just reminds me of that. I love it. I love the abstractness of this paper pack. So I'm so excited. And I am a paper pack hoarder, so it's gonna take a lot for me to use this paper because I am loving it. So that also comes with the kit. And then the stencil. I am so over the moon about this stencil. I couldn't wait to get this. This is really probably what sold me on the kit. Not that I wouldn't get it anyway, but because I love the stamp set as well. But I don't have anything quite like this. I have something that's a little similar, but I just love the way these paint splatters are. And I just wanted to take it out to show you guys. Okay, you probably could hold this up. My nails are getting in the way. I'll put the backing paper on it. Look at these splatters. This will make the coolest background. So I've seen Renee from Delaney Jane Cards use this, and it was awesome. I loved her card. So check it out. Check out, you can type in the Create and Inkspire kit, card kit, and you'll see a bunch of videos on that. And then also if you go over to, if you're a member of Create and Inkspire's website, there's also inspiration over there. And then it also comes with 2 pieces of Nina Solar White Classic Crest 80-pound cardstock, and then 1 piece of 78-pound Color Box Tuxedo cardstock. So some black cardstock. That's everything that comes in the kit. It is a very affordable price for everything that you get. And now we are going to turn the camera down and get started on a project. So for the card front, we're going to be using some Distress Oxides and the ink blot stencil that came with the kit. We're going to use Broken China, Wilted Violet, Picked Raspberry, Ripe Persimmon, and Twisted Citron with my makeup brushes to just ink everything up. And you'll see that I have all different size makeup brushes, and even with the largest one, which was the blue, it was very easy to get in between the blotches and not ink up another one that I didn't want inked up. So I'm just going to ink up a couple of the splotches and a couple of the dots with each color. I tried to do 3 of each color, and I think that it works out perfectly, but I'm not positive. I can't remember. I did this like an hour ago and I already can't remember. So Picked Raspberry is the next one we're going to ink up, and I love these colors because they're so bright and vibrant, and I wanted it to have a neon look. Now I didn't tape the card down except in that one spot on the left side, so it does shift a little bit, but that's fine. It doesn't mess anything up. So now the Picked Raspberries to the side, and that is Ripe Persimmon. I'm sorry you couldn't see the label, but it is Ripe Persimmon, I promise. And you can see I inked up. I got a little bit of the blue in there, but that was because I wasn't being careful. It wasn't because of the size of the brushes. I just accidentally got a little bit of the blue, but you can't tell in the end. So after this, I'm going to use Twisted Citron and ink that up with the last brush, and I think there's 2 ink splotches left and 1 dot, so those will all get inked up. And there might be 3. I might have missed a dot. But this was very easy, very quick to do. I think I just missed that 1 dot, like right where my fingernail is. Yeah, I thought I looked to see if I inked everything up, unless I go back in with some pink and then just add a little bit more to there because there wasn't enough pink in there. So now we're going to do the texture paste that came with the kit. I probably should have hit this with my heat gun to dry off the Distress Oxides a little bit, because they were still, with this, it reactivated it, and you'll be able to see on the palette knife that I got a lot of color on there. So some of the colors mixed a little bit and the stencil actually moved. This is the first time I've used this. So, it was a trial and error experiment. I like the way it came out. I won't say I love it, and it's totally user error. It has nothing to do with the product itself. It is all me for the reasons that I didn't love it, and you'll see, yeah, there I go. I was trying to keep that side of the palette knife out of the gel so that I wouldn't cross-contaminate it, so that it would be fine when I go to do my next projects. And then after I finish putting a layer of that, I just kind of go back and forth and just make sure everything is covered. It was a little hard to get some of the edges, so I probably would make the panel a little bit bigger and then eventually cut it down if I do this again. But again, this is always just trial and error. You live and you learn, and that was something that I learned from this. So I'm going to put that to the side to dry, and now I'm going to take the image stamp set that comes with it and ink up 2 of the images, the palette and the brush. I'm using Catherine Pooler Midnight Ink to ink these up, and I didn't get a good impression the first time, probably because they are brand new and I didn't rub off the film that sometimes can be on them, so I'm just inking them up again. They came out pretty good, but they weren't completely solid, so I wanted to stamp them again, which is the amazing thing about using a stamping tool like the Misty. Now this is a lighter piece of cardstock. I believe it's 65 or 80 pound Recollections cardstock. I did use Copic markers on it, and I didn't get bleeding, and I did go back and forth a lot with the colors. I wouldn't do this normally, but I didn't think I was going to go and do as many layers of Copic coloring as I did. So I used the warm grays because I wanted it to have like a little brownish gray tint to it, because the palette was going to be brown. So I used W7, W5, W4, W3, W2, and W0. I believe that's everything that I used. I try to show you the caps and all of it, but it's pretty much all of the W markers that I had to just go back and forth and shade. And like I said, I was really surprised that the paper took as much ink as it did. I could tell that it was getting a little saturated towards the end, so I tried not to use to go back in too much. So I'm just going to color the brush handles with the darker ones and then just fade it out to the light. I did use W0 on the bristles for the paintbrush. So, and then I did a little treatment at the end, but I didn't really like that. So now we are using, this is Toast. I believe it is E34, and then I use if it was 34, then it was 74 maybe. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I don't remember that color. That's 44, E44, sorry. To just kind of go around the paint drops that would be on the palette, and I end up bringing in, I think, a third Copic color on this. I was trying not to bring too many Copic markers into this because it was a thinner paper, but I was really surprised at how well the Copics took. So my Toast, my E34, I believe it's 34, is drying out, so I do need a refill for this one. I don't think this is one of the ones that I got in the Copic marker sale from Michael's when they had them for less than $1. I don't think this is one of the ones they had in the bin. But anyway, so I just have the sketch marker, not the chow marker for this. And I'm just going back in, going over with the lighter color, and then going back in with the darker colors, doing some flicking motions, seriously, to bring in the outside color, the places where I put the marker, the darker marker, the one that I'm using. I just wanted to pull the color out a little bit and blend those two together. And they were blending, but I didn't love the way they were blending. So like I said, I will bring a third marker in, and if I can remember what color it is, or if I can see it on the screen, I will put that down below. So it's E34 and 44. So the Toast color. I know that one's Toast, because I just thought that was a funny name for the Copic marker, the Toast color. But I thought that was a perfect color. The Toast color is a perfect color for the palettes, because I feel like that's what color a palette is in real life, or at least the ones that I've seen in art classes. I don't have any at home, so I don't really know. So I think this is the darker marker that I'm bringing in. I don't believe this is the E44. This might be the E74. I'll have to see if I can remember. Sorry, guys. I didn't think to write the markers down. When I just pick colors, I'm terrible at picking them. I just pick the ones that I think will go together nicely and just kind of use them. I'm just filling in some of the spots and then leaving some highlights of that Toast color. So there you go. I'm going back in to just blend those colors together a little bit, trying not to go over too much of it. And then I think you'll see me use the W0 to color this in a minute. Okay, so what I did was I took just the Distress Oxides that matched the splotches that I did, and I just painted them on. I'm only going to show you the Broken China one, but I did the same exact thing. I put a little bit of the color down on my mat. I actually put water to the side after that because that was a little bit too watered down, and then colored in all four of them. So now I'm going to use Nuvo drops to go over those paint, because I wanted it to be dimensional like the background, but I didn't want to bring the gel out again. The transfer, what the heck is it called? What did I use before? Oh my goodness. It's not transfer gel. Embossing, was it like embossing paste? I'm sorry, whatever it was I used before. Oh, my brain. But I didn't want to do that, so I just used the Nuvo drops. And then I used my heat gun to heat up the back because it was taking a long time for it to dry, and I'm impatient. So I just hit it with my heat tool real quick and then did the back because I was getting a little bit of warping. And again, if I can remember that word, I will put that down below. I can't believe I can't remember it. Oh my goodness. It's what happens when you work long hours and your brain is fried. So now I'm just going to put the pieces on and just try to figure out where I want them to go. Originally I had the brush going up, but then I actually turn it to make it go down towards the bottom left-hand corner when I put everything together. So that is a 110-pound gray card base that I made from the Recollections cardstock from Michaels. It's one of those, I think it's 100 pack. It's either 50 or 100 pack of paper, and there are 4 different shades of gray in there. And I didn't want it to compete with the background because it was so colorful. I think if I had to do this over again, I would put a black border around it. I think it just needs a little bit of black because there's the black outline on the brush as well as the palette, and I think I probably needed a little bit of black on there just to tie everything together. So if I was redoing this card, there's a couple things that I would do differently. So if you're going to use this as an inspiration, that would be something that I would suggest. There you go. I'm just trying to figure out where the paintbrush should go. So, and then once I glue it, I realize, I should just turn it upside down. So that will complete the front of the card. That one was pretty easy. And then I'm going to take the 3x4 sentiment stamp set and do the inside of the card. And I am going to be cutting my stamps. I know, I can't believe I cut them. It doesn't hurt them, but one of the sentiments said, this one, there was, you was separate, and then it said make, and then there was something after make. So I decided I wanted the sentiment to say, you make my world colorful, but there was make, and then there was another word after that. So I didn't, but it didn't make sense with that word in there. I can't remember what it said, so I'll have to rewatch the beginning of the video so I can see what it said. But I wanted that to be the sentiment. So I did cut the word make off of whatever that sentiment was. You can easily put them back together. The photopolymer stamps go back together so easily. So you're going to be able to stamp a straight sentiment in the end. So if you want to use that make and whatever the other word is as the sentiment. So now with this, I'm using my Misty Corners, Creative Corners, which I don't really use, to make sure the sentiment is straight. And then I forget to take it off because it wasn't straight. And then I forgot to take the Creative Corners off before I stamp, and it was kind of impeding the stamping. So I will have to stamp this a second time. It's just... that's how my day was going. So you can see the my didn't exactly stamp. So I just moved it to the side and then was able to stamp the sentiment. So you make my world. And that is also stamped in Catherine Pooler Midnight ink. And then we are going to do a technique that I absolutely love for the word colorful. So colorful is in 2 pieces. So I'm going to stamp the color down first because I want the full to actually look like it's attached to that R. So I'm going to take the same colors of Distress Oxide in the same order that I used, and I'm going to ink up parts of the sentiment or parts of the color word. So go in with the blue and then with some of the purple. And what's nice about this is you can go right over and another color, and it actually blends together very nicely once you stamp it out. And there's really no harsh lines between them. And I'm going to do this twice. So you're going to get, because you can see it didn't stamp solidly. Distress Oxides don't stamp very solidly, and I think there was also a film on this because this was the first time I used it, and again I didn't wipe it off first, but I do like the way this comes out. I love inking up sentiments like this, especially larger ones, in multiple colors to match with everything. And since the word was colorful, I decided to use all 5 of the Distress Oxides. I just thought that would look really nice. So I'm going to actually stamp a little bit of pink onto the F and the colorful, because if you notice, the bottom part of the F goes underneath the R, so there it would be pink. And I really did a terrible job with that. I'll have to ink it a second time. And then I'm using the orange and then the twisted citron. So the ripe persimmon and then the twisted citron. I wasn't sure how those two were going to go together, but the twisted citron is more of like a citrusy lime color than a green, because the green and the orange wouldn't look nice together. But with that, they blended pretty nicely. That was the only part that I was afraid of. So once that's inked up, just ink it up one more time, stamp it down, and that's the inside of my card. I'm just going to take my ATG and, put tape on the runner on the back of it and finish my card. So that is my first card from the August Create an Inkspire kit. I hope you guys like it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have comments or questions, please feel free to leave them below. Hit that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video.